So you're putting your money in stocks. You're hoping to become a millionaire in the next 10 years. Let's be honest. Investing by itself is not going to make you rich. At least not in the way most people think about it. In this video, I'll show you why investing would make you rich, what investing actually is meant to do for you, why you still need to do it, and what you should do in addition to investing to actually become rich. Let's get into it. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Modupe. I've been investing for the past 15 years, not just in the UK, but even outside the UK. And in that time, I have learned quite a bit about what investing can and cannot do for you. And I'm going to be sharing from my experience. Quick caveat, I'm not an investment advisor, so nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. However, I do have over 15 years experience investing in stocks and other assets, and in that period I have had some successes and some mishaps, and I've come to realize that a lot of people really do not understand why they should invest. First of all, no, investing alone will not make you rich. Definitely not in the short term or in the time frame that most people are looking at. Just look at the evidence around you. The richest people in the world did not get there by investing. And I'm sure you're wondering about Warren Buffett, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So why should we still invest? If investing is not going to make us rich, why should we still invest? Because investing keeps you from going poor. Let me rephrase. You may not get rich from investing, but without investing, you are almost certainly going to end up poor. If not in the short term, in the long run. Why? A simple thing called inflation. Let's do a thought experiment. If you kept £10,000 in a safe, let's say you kept £10,000 in a safe 12 months ago, how much would be left in that safe today? It's not a trick question. It's still £10,000. However, you know what has changed? What you can buy with that £10,000. If you saw a Birkin bag last year that was £10,000 and you decided to wait till this year to buy it, it wouldn't be £10,000 anymore. It would have gone up in price. So your £10,000 is no longer worth what £10,000 was worth this time last year. That is why just keeping your money in a savings account might not be the best thing. Not unless they're giving you enough interest to cover inflation. Now, if you took that same £10,000 and you invested it in, say, the Nasdaq 100, despite all that is going on in the world today with the US and everything, if you compare the value of the Nasdaq today versus same period last year, it's still 10% up. It's still 10% up, roughly. It's 9 point something. So that means that 10K, if instead of putting it in the safe, you put it in the Nasdaq 100, and then this time you sold it, you will still be able to buy your Birkin bag. But guess what? You're not richer. You've just maintained the value of your money. You kept yourself from going poor. So why do I say investing doesn't make you rich? It's the same way insurance doesn't make you rich. Your emergency funds don't make you rich. These are things you do to maintain your financial well-being. It's like me saying a balanced diet won't make you an athlete. That's true. But without a balanced diet, it's unlikely you would actually be winning any Olympic medals. What investing does for you is that it makes sure your money doesn't lose value over time. It preserves the wealth that you have. And then that gives you a cushion to actually go out and do the things that can make you rich. Just like that Olympic athlete needs a balanced diet in order for him to do the workouts and the training that he needs in order to actually perform well as an athlete. You also need investing in order for you to preserve your wealth and allow it to grow and give you a cushion while you go out to do the things that will actually make you rich. Now, I mentioned Warren Buffett earlier. There are two things we need to know about Warren Buffett, and that will lead me to those things that will make us rich. First of all, Warren Buffett started investing around the age of 15 or so, in his teens. Despite the fact that Warren Buffett started investing in his teens, Over 90%. Some people will tell you 99% of the wealth that he has today, over 99% of it came after the age of 65. So this man had roughly 50 years of investing and compounding for him to get on Forbes list. So bottom line, if he had cashed out at the current retirement age in the UK, you probably won't have heard of him because he won't have made the top 10 richest billionaires on Forbes list. That's one. But the second most important thing you need to understand about Warren Buffett is he became really rich, as in rich, by building a business around his investment. While Warren Buffett is the popular name we all know, the actual asset that is growing and compounding is Berkshire Hathaway. Because Warren Buffett himself has probably given most of his wealth away. But Berkshire Hathaway is the entity, the business entity that continues to grow. So he set up a business around his investment portfolio. That business allowed him to accumulate enough cash inflows so that he could invest at such a large scale. Now, when you watch Warren Buffett talk today, what is he talking about investing in? Businesses. He doesn't talk about stocks. He doesn't say, oh, buy this stock, buy that stock. He says, buy this company, buy that business. Because, and that takes me to my next point, how do you get rich? By buying businesses. But before we go deeper into that, let's start with your definition of rich. Because when you think about it, a rich life for me could be having enough money to take care of my family and having enough time to actually spend with them and enjoy life with them and being able to travel maybe a few times a year. Having good health, being able to do all these things when I'm young enough to actually enjoy it. That for me is actually rich. It's not necessarily having billions in a bank or being worth billions in assets. So there might be ways to achieve that. Because when you think about it, if that's my definition of rich and someone else's definition of rich is, you see that Forbes billionaire list, they want to be there, then our approach to becoming wealthy might differ slightly. And to be fair, for most of the people watching these videos, if you are investing, if you've already started investing, you're probably ahead of about 45% of the adults in the UK who have never invested anyway. So you're doing okay. But the good thing is, no matter what your version of rich is, however you define rich, someone else has already done what you want to do. You see this lifestyle that I just described? There are people living it. And there's that saying that success leaves clues, meaning all you really need to do to truly become rich is find someone who has done what you want to do and copy them. Just do what they are doing. Maybe we'll do a separate video about how we could actually customize your own ideal lifestyle, even without having billions in the bank or billions in the stock portfolio. But today, I will tell you something that I have learned from watching people like Warren Buffett on how they became rich. And really, it's kind of obvious. If I say I want to make my money strictly from my portfolio, and I look at Warren Buffett, it took him about 50 years for his portfolio to really be like, forget the kind of money. So that I know, okay, fine, it may not take me 50 years, but it might take a while. Definitely more than 10 years. Because as always, when it comes to investing, your biggest asset is time. It's time and consistency. It's not just the money you're putting in. You're putting in that money consistently, but you need to give it time to grow. So that's the first clue that we can glean from Warren Buffett's life. But the second one is also something you will see when you look at other wealthy people on Forbes rich list, for instance. When you look at how did Warren Buffett get rich, how did the other guys on the Forbes rich list get there? They either built, bought, or inherited businesses. So in my view, you get rich by building something. You're either building a brand, you're building a product, or you're building a business. And actually, at the end of the day, whether it's brand, product, or whatever, you're building a business. You need to build a system around whatever it is. That's what makes it a business. It's a system of value exchange where you give out something, whether it is your brand equity, your product, services, property, in exchange for value. What differentiates a business from other forms of income like being an employee or being an investor, being self-employed, is you built a system around it. And that's what Warren Buffett did. He built a system around the way he got in capital and invested the capital. And that's why he can retire today. There was news that when he announced his retirement, some people were almost crying because everybody associates Berkshire Hathaway with him. But the man is 99. He's not going to live forever. He will go eventually. The company will continue to exist. I was thinking of it this morning. If you look at a company like KPMG. KPMG is the names of the different people that formed the company. When you look at a company like Deloitte, it's someone's name. Right? Arthur Andersen, it's somebody's name. So those are businesses that were built by people, and then those people passed on and the business continued after them. Bottom line, you get rich by building something. And you're probably wondering, how about property? Property is a form of investing. But when you look at the people that really make money from property, they treat it like a business. For you to actually run a buy-to-let successfully, especially with the way the tax system is structured, you need to treat it like a business. You need to set up an LLC to own that property if you're dealing with rental property. Otherwise, you won't really make much after taxes. Now, am I saying everyone should go and start a business tomorrow? No. Remember, I said it also depends on your definition of rich. And for some of us, that whole entrepreneurial thing is not part of our picture of wealth at all. It's too much hassle. So some of us will basically work with time. We will invest, we will wait, just like Warren Buffett did. We will wait it out, and by the time we leave our 9 to 5, we will have this extra buffer, this extra cushion that will make sure we will ball. We won't be chasing government for pensions. We will be all right? You have your pensions coming in, you have money from your ISA, and you live okay. You live a cushioned life. I like that word, cushion. A pampered life in your 60s. But if you want to accelerate things a bit, you may want to learn a bit from Warren's clues and treat your investments like a business. What does that mean? Don't treat your stock portfolio like a commodity that you just buy and sell based off what's going on in the market. Recently, when the S&P 500 took a nosedive a couple of months back, I was getting questions from everybody. Should we sell? Should we buy? Should we sell? If it was your own business, like if you actually owned those 500 companies inside the S&P 500 and something happened to the economy, you're not going to just abandon all the businesses like that. If you were the business owner, you would find a way to navigate the economy and then wait it out and let things turn around. So that's how you treat your portfolio as well. Don't just panic when the market changes, all right? Learn and understand, how do we navigate this situation? As an investor, really, you just chill and do nothing. Which takes me to the second thing. You need to improve your understanding of investing, of what it means to be an investor. Understand what you are doing, right? I know we keep talking about investing made easy because it is easy. It is simple, not easy. It is simple. But we talk about investing made easy. We talk about the fact that it doesn't require too much specialized knowledge to get into. But for you to maintain that consistency, you need to understand why you're doing those things you're doing. It's just like if you talk about Christianity, for instance, there's not much to it beyond pray and read your Bible. Those are the actions that you're doing. But then those things are supposed to result in other things. Prayer is supposed to result in other things. Reading your Bible is supposed to result in other things. So that's why you put in a little bit extra. You fellowship with the brethren, you go to church, you interact with other people so that you understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and when you do it, it actually has value. It's the same with investing. You need to understand what you're doing so that you're able to be committed and consistent in doing it. And you don't suddenly say, oh, I'm not seeing any returns from this money. Okay, I put in 5K last year. I only saw 500 pounds on top. I'm not making any money from this. So 500 pounds on 5K, That is 10%. Not a lot of businesses can tell you that they grew their profit by 10% in a year. So you need to understand what you're putting your money into, how much you can expect, when you can expect it. And then the most important bit is also you need to understand what your goals. Actually, this is the first thing you should do. You need to decide what your goals are and how you are working towards it. Because like I keep mentioning, what's your definition of rich? What's your picture of wealth? What's your ideal lifestyle when you are rich? Because you might be able to achieve that lifestyle without necessarily becoming a millionaire. Some people have achieved that lifestyle with a portfolio of £300,000, 300,000 pounds, and then you relocate to Lagos. You might be able to live like a king. Meanwhile, someone is here building an empire of £1 million with property all over Manchester and London, and they are still struggling to relax, chill, and live the kind of jollof life you are living in Lagos. So you need to define what's your picture of success. Now, treating things like a business doesn't only apply to your investment, it also applies to yourself. Particularly those of us that are still working a 9 to 5. You need to realize that you are the CEO of your single employee company, your one product single employee business. You are the CEO of that business. And how do you treat yourself as a business? First of all, you need to multiply your time. Multiply your time. I say this all the time. Utilize the available technology. Use AI. Use the internet. Outsource things that are not adding value to your life. Delegate busy work. Use freelancers. Free up time for yourself. Time that you can use to do other things, like improving your product. Your product is whatever skill that is earning you money right now. So free up time to build yourself, to improve your skill set, to improve your ability to earn from your employer, right? If it's doing a course, if it's building your brand on LinkedIn so that you can get a better job, if it is improving your skills so that you can be more efficient at the job that you have currently, especially skills that cannot be easily replaced by technology. So things like your ability to interact with people, to influence people. AI might be able to compose a very nice email, but if it's in terms of actually selling ideas and getting people to come along with you on an idea, it's a skill that if it requires you going for a course, do it. If it requires you studying, practicing, working on your presence, do all those things. And then the third way you can improve yourself as a business is to also explore opportunities. Explore other opportunities out there. Try out new things. You know how businesses try to be on the cutting edge of the latest technology? You too, be on the cutting edge of the latest technology. AI, for instance, is an opportunity. YouTube is an opportunity. Tinker with them. You don't have to become a guru. Understand how it works. Understand the business model around it. Understand what is going on in the world around you and see how, for instance, how politics affects businesses and how businesses make decisions based off the trends, political trends, social trends, economic trends, global trends, and see how you can position yourself so that you benefit from these changes, from these trends. Most businesses have no permanent loyalties when it comes to politicians, for instance. They will donate to all the parties, and whichever one comes out on top, they have no permanent loyalties. They may have preferences when it comes to what policies go in, but whatever government is in power, they look at what policies are likely to come from that government, and then they position themselves in such a way that they can benefit from those policies. That's how you should also play as an individual. But when you are tinkering with all these things, when you are tinkering with AI, tinkering with social media, internet, remember, the focus is to keep creating. Your focus should be to create things, because how do you build wealth? You build wealth by creating, by building products, by creating brands, even if it's a personal brand, by creating businesses, not by consuming. You want to be Netflix, not the Netflix subscriber. You want to be the YouTube content creator, not the person watching. I'm not saying there's anything wrong in watching Netflix. I watch Netflix and I watch YouTube. But my point is, you also want to be creating, not just consuming. That's how you build your wealth. But remember, before you do all these things, we're saying a lot here, but before you do all these things, you need to protect yourself with a nice, comfy cushion of assets. So you start by investing and then you move on to building. So if you are ready to start setting up that nice investment cushion, you should check out this video here where I talk through practically everything you need to know about ETFs. I've taken questions from the audience, and you can leave me questions at the bottom of the video in the comments as well. And then don't forget to like this particular video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to the channel for more thoughtful bits like this. Before you go though, let me know in the comments, what are you building right now? Share so that others can know. Remember, we don't just want to keep the gist flowing, we want to get our money growing. Have a lovely day.